Called order the City Council meeting for City of East Grand Forks for Tuesday, March 19th, 2019 is now 5 o'clock. City Clerk, please call roll.
Mayor Steve Gander.
Here.
Council President Mark Olstead.
Here.
Council Vice President Chad Grassel. Council Members Clarence Vetter.
Here.
Dale Helms.
Here.
Tim Riepel.
Here.
Tim Johnson.
Here.
Mark Demers.
Does turn quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open forum and opportunity for members of the public to address City Council on items not on the current agenda. Items requiring council action may be deferred to staff, boards, and commissions for research and future council agendas if appropriate. If you'd like to address City Council at this time, please come forward to do so. I see none. Approval of minutes for the March 5th regular meeting.
So move.
Moved by Rayfield.
Second.
Second by Johnson. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Olstead.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Scheduled bid lettings, none. Scheduled public hearings, none. Consent agenda, there is none. Acknowledge a receipt of reports, officers, boards, and commissions. Regular meeting minutes of Water, Light, Power, and Building Commission for February 11th, 2019, and February 20th, 2019. Communication, there is none. Old business, there is none. New business, consider approving the purchase of a Toro 4100D with accessories and snow thrower attachment from MTI Distributing for a total amount of $86,013.79.
Move.
Moved by Johnson.
Second.
Second by Riepel. Any questions or discussion? See none, roll call, please.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Olstead.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Consider adopting resolution number 19-03-17 authorizing Woodseth Smith and Nolting to develop a master plan of the Fay Park area for maximum cost of $6,000. The motion.
Move.
Moved by Vetter.
Second.
Second by Helms. Any questions or discussion? See none, roll call, please.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Olstead.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 5, consider adopting resolution number 19-03-18 requesting and supporting comprehensive road and transit funding for the state of Minnesota. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Riepel.
Second.
Second by Johnson. Any questions or discussion? I see none. Roll call, please.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Olstead.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 6, consider approving the master service agreement between the City of East Grand Forks and Civic Plus for an upgrade to the city website for a total cost of $5,625.01 and continued website hosting services. Moved by Riepel.
Second.
Second by Johnson. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Galston.
I just mentioned after reviewing it regarding the limitation of liability in the indemnification paragraph that Mr. Murphy provided to the league just for comment because they were a little bit overextended. So I would have it subject to approval from our insurance provider.
And that has been done. I just have not received their comments back yet.
Want to amend your motion?
I'll amend it.
Second. Who seconded?
Well, Johnson.
Johnson.
You're okay with amending it?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Demers?
With this new contract, what are out clauses?
Let me pull it up here. You mean if for getting out?
Yes.
If we wanted to do it, it is.
Is it the same as the last contract, or is it?
I did look through this here. Let me give you a second. I believe it's 60 days. I'm almost positive of it, but I'm not. It's not jumping out me right now.
Written notice.
Yeah, it's 60 days written notice.
And that's the same. Is there any chance that we can modify that, or?
You'd have to ask.
Mean to provide more notice or less?
well, less, I guess I would, in case we want, I mean, our original intent was to move forward with our own, right? And in your correspondence with Mr. Thompson, it sounded like there were some things that came up that didn't allow that to happen. If we want to keep going down that avenue of doing it ourselves, is there the ability to get out at an earlier date without any,
Without cause.
without cost?
We could. I guess the issue that I would say with that is 60 days isn't really, just things probably isn't that much. If we're going to be going for our own, we would need to be setting it up. I would think we would do at least a 60-day notice if we're going to get it, by the time we get it set up for ourselves and get it moving. I guess personally, I don't see a need for less than 60 days. I think that will serve us well yet.
And then with the 60 days notice, didn't that require us to continue paying out the contract?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, I got it. No, if this new one, once our initial term is up, it's month to month, but we do it.
It is month to month.
You give a 60-day notice. I mean, in effect, it's month to month. But
As long as we can get out
Yep.
fairly well without having to
Okay.
buy
I see
out
what
the
you
rest of the contract.
mean. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? See none, roll call, please.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Olsted.
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Claims, considering authorizing the city administrator clerk treasurer to issue payment of recommended bills and payroll.
Move.
Moved by Helms.
Second.
Second by Riepel. Any questions or discussion? See none, roll call, please.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Olsted.
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Suspension of rules. Vote to suspend rules for local emergency proclamation and consider adoption of a resolution extending the local state of emergency. Is there a motion to
Move suspend for second suspension.
move by Vetter, second by Demers? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Mayor Gander.
I have a proclamation for a local state of emergency, and I'll read it for you for the record. Whereas the mayor of East Grand Forks finds that the following situation exists: predicted flooding of the Red River of the North and the Red Lake River by the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service is predicting the river levels may reach 50 feet or higher. Whereas the mayor finds that the conditions can change rapidly due to temperature change, ice blockages, or many other possible variables that can affect the floodwaters. And now, therefore, the mayor declares the situation to be a local emergency effective on March 19, 2019. This declaration of a local emergency will invoke the city's disaster plan. The portions of that are necessary for response to and recovery from the emergency must be used. And I'll sign it as mayor if approved.
Thank you, sir. On to considering adopting resolution number 19-03-19, extending the state of emergency until the river level returns below the 28-foot flood stage.
Move.
Moved by Demers.
Second.
Second by Riepel. Any questions or discussion? I see none. Roll call, please.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Olsted.
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Move on to Mayor Gander. Closing.
I do have just a few things here tonight. First of all, last week we were able to get down to St. Paul to testify on behalf of the city for the LGA change in the legislation that we're working for. And I do want to thank Representative Keel and Senator Johnson for their help down there introducing a bill into their respective houses of the legislature. And with that testimony to the committee, we're hopeful that it will be rolled into the tax bill on the side of the House. It'll come also on the side of the Senate. It'll be reconciled. It'll be brought, hopefully, for the full vote and signed by the governor. And it will not be done, you know, you were kind of hopeful it's a small thing and it could be done in a week or two or three, but it does get rolled into the greater tax bill. So we won't know on that one until maybe May or whenever the final tax bill would be signed, hopefully by the governor, and hopefully ours is included in there. We may need to return either for some House testimony or on the Senate side And so we have our ear to the rail. We have staff on the ground down there every day, all the time, listening and kind of feeling the pulse of things down in St. Paul for us. And they're great. They helped us get the messaging as we would want it to tell the right account of what's happening up here and ask for the right remedy. Number 2. I received an email from a local religious leader that I would like to share parts of it with you. And I'll just start right in. We wholeheartedly condemn the terrorist attacks that occurred during the holy day of Jummah, which is Friday, and during Jummah, Friday prayer. The attack was at a mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand, and the act was streamed live on Facebook for the world to see. Reports state that 49 people died and many more were injured. This was a premeditated, severe act of terror and hate crime, an act to instill fear in the hearts of innocent Muslim men and women and deter them from going to their place of worship. And so they say we would like to work together with all religious leaders, community members, neighbors, and allies to end hate crimes against all faiths. An attack on any place of worship is an attack on all places of worship, and I agree with that statement. We've seen where this ends up. If we start to kill people based on their ethnicity or their religious beliefs, we end up like Nazi Germany, Holocaust, and the gassing of Jewish people. We're not going to go there. And so I join this religious leader, and I hope we can all join in condemning those attacks and all agree that that's not what we stand for here in East Grand Forks, here in Minnesota, here in the U.S., and let that message be crystal clear. We're not part of any of that. I do have, also, on a happier note, I did get a request for a Grinder Award for George Weber. George has apparently somewhat retired from reffing, but he doesn't stay gone very long. He may have retired from high school reffing, but he plans to return in different levels of reffing. We'd like to take, this was read, I think, at his last high school game. We'd like to take the opportunity tonight to celebrate and thank George Weber for his 40-plus years of service as a high school and youth hockey referee. George has worked thousands of games at all levels of hockey and should be applauded for his service to the players and coaches. We are sure George has countless stories and tales of his travels to and from hockey arenas, not only in northwest Minnesota, but the state as a whole. A fellow referee tells a story about George's car getting run into by a deer once when reffing together. But through thick and thin, George was always there to drop the puck. And it goes on. Apparently he refs more than 100 games a year. He has a love for the game and he has a love for kids. And that's what has carried him through all of those years and all that reffing. And I did receive a nomination for George to get a Grinder Award. So George will be getting one of those. Coincidentally, the person that he volunteers for is also a pretty good ref. Hello, because he's not the kind, this is about our friend Reed Hutton. Because he's not the kind to honk his own horn, I just wanted to make you aware that Reed has been reffing at the state hockey tournament and his group has done so well. They were picked to do the AA championship game. I just thought he deserved a little recognition and a Grinder Award, so one for Reed also. And one final thing. Y'all probably know Sacred Heart does a fish fry on Fridays at 5 o'clock. And they have people serve the fish, which, by the way, is the easiest job in the house. Somebody's like prepared the fish and moved the fish and delivered the fish to whoever is serving it. Someone prepares the potatoes and the tartar sauce and all the other fixings, all the silverware, all the beverages. So the easy part is to stand there and hand out fish. But they get people from the community to hand out fish. Turns out last weekend, or let's say the weekend I served fish last year, was a popular weekend. I think it was the last weekend of the whole thing. And so that day, they served the most fish they ever had. And that was kind of cool. I got to serve the most fish, but everybody else did all the work. But now this past weekend, I can't believe it. It was an act of real cheap theatrics, in my estimation. The sheriff, Andy Schneider from Grand Forks, put out the word in advance that if he could beat that number, that he would eat a live minnow. And don't you know he did. And he had his son, check it out on Facebook. He's sitting there with his son, and they both eat a live minnow. And the poor lad couldn't swallow his. So he tried again, and Andy ate two, and this young man ate another. It looked so fun. There was a third kid off camera saying, "Hey, I want one." It was hilarious. Check it out. And so I'm serving again this Friday at 5 o'clock. And so I do encourage everyone, if y'all pick this up on the media, and I'm not one for cheap theatrics, I think everybody knows that. And so, yeah, if y'all serve more fish, you Sacred Heart folks, than what you served last weekend, I don't like fish that much, so I'm not going to eat a minnow, but I'll eat a pound of chippers and a quart of milk in a single sitting. I'll take it for the team. I mean, I'll probably never eat another chipper again after that.
What, not a leech?
So show up this Friday at 5 to 7, right in there. But come on early because the line sort of wraps around and around. So come on over and eat some fish. It's for a good cause. And you can do the drive up. They serve a ton of folks now through the drive up as well. That's all I got.
Mr. Vetter.
I don't have anything, thank you.
Mr. Elms.
I have nothing, thanks.
Mr. Repel.
I have two things. First of all, the Park and Rec Commission has an opening. One of our members had to resign from Ward 3, so anyone from my ward, if you would like to step up to the plate and be part of the Park and Recreation Commission, please contact Reed at the Park District office. Number two, I'd like to thank the EDA board for a plaque that they presented myself today, an appreciation for being on their board. Thank you, Paul, and these two gentlemen on each of my side. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson.
Thumbs up to the city employees, Public Works, Police, Fire. We're going to go into this spring operation and hope you keep it up, and I hope the citizens can give you a friendly wave and thumbs up. Good luck.
Mr. Demers.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
I have nothing tonight. Mr. Murphy.
I just have one thing, an update I see. We have a representative from Sacred Heart out here as well. Last week at the work session, we did talk about that old parking lot. We're hoping to have that before the council today, but we are just not far enough along. Last week turned out to be fairly busy, but we will have it here probably at the next one. So I just want to give you an update on that.
Mr. Gulsted.
Nothing unless there's questions for me.
Mr. Emery.
Good evening. So I think, as most of you are aware, the Interconnect Wastewater Project won the 2019 Municipal Project of the Year Award, which was selected by the City Engineers Association of Minnesota. This is a prestigious award that was chosen by our peers in the engineering field, and it was an honor to be selected for such an award when I'm sure there were many other great projects out there that were being reviewed by the selection committee. Greg Beaupre and myself, we were planning to go down to the annual City Engineers Conference on January 30th. However, which was in Brooklyn Park. However, due to the weather, we were unable to make the event. This award, even though chosen by the City Engineers Association, was more than an award for the engineering aspects of the project. This award is truly a testament to the commitment, trust, and cooperation of two communities, two city councils, city staff, and all the engineering staff from both sides of the river whom worked together to provide a cost-effective solution for the city of East Grand Forks and their wastewater treatment needs. I would therefore, on behalf of myself and Greg Beaupre, like to present this award to the city of East Grand Forks, current and former city council members, and all the city staff who were involved in this project to make it a reality. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Got a nice plaque we got.
Very much.
Thank you.
You bet.
Anything from the department heads? Nancy.
In July, we made changes to all of our bus routes, And after the 6-month trial period, we go back, we review those routes, see where we can make changes, where we've noticed ridership decreasing or where we need to do some pickups. And so just notifying you that we will be having a public meeting on Thursday here at City Hall from 4 to 6, just to go over a few more of those changes. Just trying to adjust to public comment, where we feel we needed to save some time, those types of things. So if anyone's interested in seeing what the changes to the changes are, it'll be down in the training room from 4 to 6. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Anything from any of the department heads? I see none. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Reapel, second by Demers. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned.